It's Thursday, everyone, and that means it's time for another episode of Reserve List Cards You Should Be Watching. When it comes to Magic the Gathering's Reserve List, it's alive and well. Welcome back, everyone. MTG Moxman here. Thanks for hanging out with me on the channel today as we get into another episode of Reserve List Cards You Should Be Watching. Now, on the weekend, I do a Saturday Hot Top 10 and then the Sunday Reserve List Hot Top 10. But with the sheer amount of sales happening right now with Reserve List cards, a lot of these cards would never make my Hot Top 10, but they are cards that I want to make the player base aware of. Some of you guys may have these cards at home and you want to sell them. Other players may be looking to buy these cards because they're so cheap. There's a lot of savings right now in the reserve list, and those that have equity that they can hold on to and can weigh and weather out the storm that's happening right now, you will come out ahead in the end. I've done it through 3 buy downs when things just went to the floor and I bought and added equity, and I've come out on top each and every time. And I'm only speaking from my own personal experiences. I am not a financial advisor. I can't really help you guys out. I hoard cardboard in the background and do absolutely nothing with it but admire it and polish it slowly. That's all I do, just polish it and look at it. That's how it is. So take this advice for what it is. But in today's episode, we've got some amazing cards I want to share with you all. I can't wait, so let's just get into it. The first card I want to share with everyone today is Phyrexian Purge from Mirage. Now, it's 1 red, 1 black, and 2 other. It's a sorcery. It says pay 3 life per target. Destroy any number of target creatures. I'm thinking about this for my Throwbolt deck, my Thralls and Kobolds deck. I think it's pretty good to be able just to destroy things, waste a little bit of life. As long as I can replenish that life by stealing it from opponents, I think it makes it a pretty handy card to have, and I can pick and choose targets I want to get rid of. Now, it's $10 Canadian for a near mint copy. The average is $6.97 US, and a card like this before has been as high as about $20 US. It's more than 50% off at this point, and it's a card I'm willing to hold on to for a long time. When I see cards like this and I see 1 or 2 sales in a week, that means people are actually buying it to put into decks. When you see 10, 12, 15, 20 sales in a given week period, that's a small mini buyout or people building a position in that card and they don't want you to notice. When you see 50, 100 copies plus selling in a week or even less period of time, that is an absolute buyout. This card has gone through stages where it's kind of been bought out in little bits of 10, 20 copies at a time. Right now, it's at an all-time low, and if it's a card you need, this is the time to get into a card like this because it's not going to cost you a lot of money. Now, our next card today is Harbinger of Night. Again, another Mirage card. Look how far this card has come down. It was at like $13 US. You can have it for $9 Canadian now. The average is only $4.69 US. The market's $3.89 US, and it's €3.70 to get this card into your house. This one, again, forecasting costs for a 2/3. But during your upkeep, put a -1/-1 counter on each creature. This thing is a pestilence that I don't have to pump mana into. And I can put permanent -1/-1 counters. And if you have ways of removing counters to do certain game effects, this guy can be a devastating card. Another card I'm considering for my Throwbolt deck, depending on what I build into. But at this cheap of a price, I'm willing to stab at least 1 near mint copy. Oh, by the way, guys, most of the cards on the video today, I would definitely mainly consider going for the near mint versions and paying the full price of like the $7, $8 for these cards near mint, because you're just going to reap the rewards later on for these cards as the years go by. So let's go ahead and take a look at our next card today. Now this one, Aysen Highway from Homelands, is basically a worthless card. I want to state that right now. It's $1.50 Canadian for a near mint copy. The average is $1.09. The market is 99 cents. It's €1.30. This card went like $5. It's collapsed back down to almost its original price. Okay? But look what it says. All white creatures gain Planeswalk. Okay. The only reason I'm mentioning this card is because funky cards like this can do strange things. It's a 6 casting cost enchantment. There are ways to animate enchantments and make them into creatures. Cool. This thing can give things Planeswalk. So you got to remember, if you're playing a white deck and your opponent might have white in it, it actually can totally destroy them in like one turn if planned correctly. And I know this because I have done it. It's $1.50. I'm not saying this card will ever be worth anything, but I am willing to spend $6 to buy 4 near mint copies, which I have already done, just to hold on to them. I have one in a deck that I was playing for fun, trying out a commander deck, and that a game effect went off. But I realized there are lots of things to do with enchantments. Enchantments are becoming a bigger thing. So quirky cards like this from back in the day, you don't really know what's going to happen. So for $1.50 per copy Canadian, I mean $4 US for 4 near mint copies. I'm sorry guys, I don't really see a downtrend for it. You're talking about skipping one small fry. I don't know. It's just one of those things I can't help myself, which is why I'm mentioning it. I don't know what cards like this will hold in the future, but I'm not willing to take a chance of not having any position in this particular card. All right, the next card is Quirion Druid. I've mentioned this Vision's Beast a few times, and I have used this card effectively inside Vintage Legacy decks. $7.50 Canadian near mint. The average is $4.99 US. The market has it at $3.77 US, and it's €3.82 to get this card to your house. This card was at $15. It is 2/3 off right now. Okay? With this kind of craziness in the world, the lower end reserve list cards get left alone, and it is a low end reserve list. It is a 3 casting cost for a 1/2. Even by the old day standards, that's not a particularly powerful card. It's a weak Visions card, but it's what it does and how the game is played now that matters. It says pay 1 green. Target land becomes a 2/2 creature permanently. I want you to hear that again. I'm going to repeat it. Tap 1 green. Tap the Quirion Druid. Target land becomes a 2/2 creature permanently. So, are you being bothered by some man land? Some animated creature artifact land that's coming to get you and it's horrible and evil? Do you have a land like, I don't know, Tellerian Academy bothering you? And you only have creature kill, or you have lots of big green creatures to stomp it out? You can actually make their lands into creatures. Find ways like a Pestilence or that Harbinger to eliminate the creatures from the battlefield. Imagine animating their lands and putting -1/-1 counters. Animating their lands and then blowing all the things up with like a Wrath of God. There are so many game effects that can be manipulated with this card with ways of tapping him, double tapping him, triple tapping him, tapping and copying game effects like Lithoform Engine. How is this card not $50? I have no idea. Which is why I bought 4 near mint copies. I'll be honest. I have cards on the way because some of these cards should not be this cheap at this point, and I'm willing to get small positions in a few of these for my patrons and for myself. Great card. I can't believe it's this cheap. If I was me, which I am buying some. All right, our next card is Rashida Scalebane, Mirage. Now, sorry guys, the video's a little longer today. I have a lot of cards to go over. This card is $5 near mint Canadian. The average is $2.96 US. The market is $1.90. I understand she is not a powerful card, okay? I look at her and go, okay, she's kind of wimpy. But she can bury target attacking or blocking dragons. Dragons are a thing again. From D&D to all these new sets coming out, they have given us some very big beastie dragons like Tiamat. They've given us huge things that can come and get you, like Old Gnawbone. If you have this card out, they are going to second guess themselves. They are going to worry about. You put regeneration on this, you find ways with shield counters or, I don't know, some way of protecting it. She becomes a lethal threat, and she doesn't take mana to use her ability. She can just tap. And again, with a Lithoform, copying a game effect like that can just destroy opponents. Finding ways to flash creatures in when they least expect it, like, what is it, Winding Canyons or whatever, where you can flash in your creature spells. Guys, there's all kinds of stuff to do at ends of turns to mess people up. There are all kinds of game effects you can use to make this stuff happen. It is amazing what you can do nowadays with low-end cards like this. I own a playset. This is not a card I have to buy, but when I see it basically where it was 2 years ago, I've got to mention it to people to let them know. Even if you only bought one, just to hold on to in case you build a commander deck that needs it one day and it sits gathering dust in your binder, you're only talking $1.90 US on the market, right? Like, it's not going to cost you a lot. And if you say, I don't want to spend that much money, go for a moderately played copy for like 90 cents. I just don't see how you can lose out with a card like that the way people are using dragons nowadays. All right. The Spirit of the Night Mirage. I mentioned this card when it was first spiking up way back in like 2020. I think I said it was like I don't know, it was like a $3 or $4 card, and I mentioned people should be buying it. Now it's $15 Canadian near mint. I'm just mentioning this out there. The average is $9.13. It's €8.32 to get that card into your house, okay? Now, it is a 6/5. Yeah, it costs 9 mana. It has flying, trample, protection from black, and it has haste before they knew what to call haste. It can attack right away. All right, this thing's amazing. And I'm not saying you want to pay 9, but let's face it, flipping cards into your graveyard is a pretty easy thing with things like Technuma and all kinds of dredging abilities nowadays. There's lots of ways to slip this card onto the battlefield and bash people to death with it. And it makes it so much fun. So for that really small price, for the fact it has haste and protections and flies and tramples and first strikes people, it doesn't trample, sorry, but first strike people, you know what I'm saying? It has lots of abilities for what it costs, which seemed pretty expensive back in the day. But there are ways to cheat cards onto the battlefield now. Pay attention to cards like this. They can do things. All right. Our next card is Kjeldoran Outpost from Alliances. That's right, the outpost out in the middle of nowhere. Nobody loves it. Didn't bring in an Oreo cookie, and it's just sitting there. $25 Canadian near mint. Average price $19.99. And it feels like it's like a deal on sale, right? $19.99. And then we've got €12.26 to get this card in your house. It's just starting to uptrend. But this card used to be $40, remember? Look how far this thing's come down. It's like half price. With a card like this that has playability, okay, this card is used. It does have homes in Commander. Go for that near mint copy. Spend a few extra bucks and go for the near mint copy. That's what you're going to have to do to make that work for you in the long run. I have 4 near mint copies I bought, and I bought them for like, I don't know, 12, 13 bucks each at the time. And even now, I'd be coming out ahead. Imagine what 10 more years will do to the Alliance set as people recognize how awesome that set is. I'm sorry, guys. I gotta say it. Buy it if you can. Pick up one. Be happy with a near mint copy for a Commander deck. Okay, Fork. This thing's been on my hot top 10 for like 3 weeks in a row. I gotta mention it. The sales are high yet again. I expect this card to crack into the top 10 hot video this weekend. Revised Edition 1, you're looking at $75 Canadian. The average, $57.99. €33.48 to get this card into your house. But when you look at its previous high of $150, it's 50% off right now. Picture that, 50% off. Even if you only need one. I'm thinking about Commander players. I'm thinking about the Commander format. And at least having one is not going to hurt you. And it's that much cheaper to get. And if you just want to play copy, you don't care about near mint, you're not an investor, then go get a beat up, heavily played copy. Treat yourself. Because you're a year, 2 years, 5 years, at some point in the future, you are going to look at that and it's going to be 150, it's going to be 200, it's going to be 300, and you'll kick yourself for not buying it. We've all made those past mistakes. But again, it is an expensive card still. It's $75. I get it. All right. Our next card is going to be Copy Artifact. Again, another one that has been as high as 300 in some cases for like the unlimited played ones. Right? A beta and stuff's like $500-600. Alpha's like 1,000. So right now, seeing this thing at $110 Canadian near mint. By the way, it is sold out locally. $89 US is like the average. 86 is the market. €70 to get that card to your house. This one is still dropped less than the 50%, okay? It's not quite as far, but it is Copy Artifact. Remember that. It is only one blue and one other to cast this bad boy, and there are so many artifacts to copy. There is just so many things you can do with this card that makes it so amazing and better than Mirror Maid because you can cast it basically a turn faster. I used to copy Moxes with this thing all the time. Copying your Chaos Orb, having some fun nowadays with the more modern cards you can put in. It's just such a versatile card for blue that if you don't have one, even saving the money you can save right now getting one, I still recommend picking one up before it gets even more ridiculously expensive. I don't see it dropping too much further. Okay, Helm of Obedience. Gotta mention this one. It's been the bane of my existence in many a game. It did get over the $100 mark. It's down more than 50% in some cases. It was like $130 at one point. So $75 Canadian near mint. I do recommend going for near mint, as I stated at the beginning of the conversation. Alliance's cards, a little underrated. Now, the average price is $59.95, but it's €50, 65 cents to get that card to your house. All right. I love getting cards into my house. It's 4 to cast, which I understand, not the cheapest. Fun for Commander, though, when you're flipping people's libraries out. And if you have a way to control what they're going to draw, you get to flip a lot of cards. You can have a real blast with this, depending on the type of deck they're playing and depending on what mechanics you build into your deck to allow you to look ahead in an opponent's library and make them flip and flip and flip and flip. It is just hilariously funny to do, okay? And at this price, you really can't go wrong. Plus, you get the creature from it when they do flip a creature. So if you look ahead in their deck and see they have an Emrakul coming and you get to take that Emrakul, that's amazing. You get to take, I don't know, whatever card's coming up. Ulamog the Ceaseless Hunger? Cool. Harbinger of Night? I don't know, but you get to have it, which is very cool. Awesome card. And you have ways of bringing this thing back with like Argivian Archaeologist like we used to do back in the day. So epic. All right. Unfulfilled Desires. Now, $9 Canadian, sold out locally, okay, guys? This card I've mentioned numerous times. It got as high as like $30-something. I bought a playset because I think it was a patron or a player recommended it to me when it was like $2, $3 each. And I went ahead and bought like a playset of 4. I said, that's cheap. Why not? It's a good investment, like I've told you guys today. And even at today's price, I've still like 9 times my money. It's ridiculous. So this card is, 1 blue, 1 black, 1 other. Pay a life, draw a card, discard a card. Great. Depending on what you're doing with this deck, this thing's insane. Why do people not have a playset? I don't know. The average price is $17.50 because it's gone through a buyout. You'll see stuff on the Hot Top 10 this weekend. $5.55. €5, 55 cents to get that card in your house. Guys, these cards, this spike you're seeing right now, it will settle down. Okay? Let me just click this off here. It's going to settle down. It's not going to stay that way. Okay? It can't be propped up by just a single buyout. It's going to go back down. It's going to calm down. Give it 90 days if you want. But it was a usable, versatile card inside Commander, Legacy, Vintage. There are ways of using cards like this to make them fun, exciting, and bring some excitement to your game. Yeah, there's lots of instant kill decks, but sometimes it's a style factor. Can you pull off that cool combo? That's how I feel anyway. So when I look at some of these cards, and I look at some of the very reasonable pricing on some of them, you're like, I'm not passing it up. I'm still nitpicking at a few cards myself. I'm seeing sales across the board telling me a lot of other players, like you guys out there, are doing the same. Don't forget to send me photos when you guys get cool stuff. I like to look at it. You know that, right? Of course, to my patrons, any questions you have about this video, you can hit me up on the Patreon, the Discord, email. I will be happy to answer everyone. Guys, thanks a lot for tuning in. These are cards you should be watching. There's a lot out there that people are missing, and I'm happy to be able to bring this information to you. Thank you again to all my awesome patrons on the channel who make this possible every day. I'll see you guys soon. Your support is so appreciated. And of course, a big shout out to all the fantastic patrons on the channel who make this channel possible, because without you guys, let's face it, I'd be talking to myself in a microphone watching my own videos. Bah! Thanks guys for watching. You rock. So here we go. You're back again. You couldn't get enough and now you're here? I don't know what to tell you. The video's done. I'm just standing here, getting ready to go make dinner, walk the dog. My coffee's empty. Tomorrow I got to do the Hot Top 10 videos. That's, kind of exciting. I look forward to that every week. I guess I'll see you guys in the live stream. That'll be awesome. What else do you want from me, man? No. There's nothing else. This isn't Ferris Bueller. This is it. It's the end. My diet? Doing good. See you guys soon.